in conflict with somebody and the minute you go to try to express what you're feeling, you just don't do it. You remain reserved. You have the thoughts in your head, but somehow they just don't make it out. So you just sit quietly, you shut down, you may isolate, or you may act like, everything is cool and that you didn't have anything to say, but really deep down, that's what we're talking about today. The question is, why do I shut down during, there we go, that's a during our conflict. Why do I shut down during conflict? Something I can relate to, something other people can relate to, and something that I've given a lot of thought to because I've experienced it in the past, and I have in cases experienced the cost of it. So enough about me. Let's get into you. So why does this happen? A big thing is belief. It happens because of what you believe. What is it that you believe? That nobody cares. You believe that even if I was to express this, it wouldn't change anything. The person who I'm expressing it to, either they'll have their own rebuttal, either they'll get defensive, or they just, they won't hear me. Conditioning. A big part of that is conditioning. You may have grown up in a situation where the people around you, they didn't take your feelings maybe seriously. They had a difficult time receiving big emotions, and not even big emotions. They had a difficult time receiving emotion and didn't necessarily know what to do with it or didn't know how to help you through it. So they either made a joke out of it or kind of ignored that it was happening. So something in your childhood conditioned you to believe that when I come in conflict and I express myself, there's no point because it's not going to be received. Another thing about conditioning, sometimes when you see the people around you and they become upset, their method of communication may have been to distance themselves. You may not have seen them successfully resolve conflict. And the interesting part about that is they may have done it, but they didn't do it in front of you, which may have informed your child mind that it didn't get done. And that may not actually be the case. That's why it actually can be good for adults to resolve conflict around children so that they know it's possible. They know how to essentially practice it. And that's important, teaching the skills to practice these skills is an important part of raising a child. Another one, it was not safe to express these emotions. Sometimes you may have expressed an emotion as a kid and you got a horrible reaction for it. You may have got yelled at. You may have been sent away like to your room, or some kids were sent outside or punished for having a feeling or having an opinion. So when you come up in conflict as an adult and you want to express yourself, you choose not to because your nervous system remembers the feeling of rejection when you attempted to do that as a child. And the other one is, fear of rejection. Sorry, I stopped writing on the board. I should though. Fear of rejection. That's really what it comes down to. It's the fear of being rejected. It's the fear that this thing that means so much to me, when I share it, it's not going to be received. It's kind of like, it's a self-protection. I'm protecting the soft, vulnerable part of myself from you because I don't feel like you're going to handle it with care. So I don't say anything at all. That's what, that's what you've learned to do. To fear of vulnerability. Sorry, gotta go to my notebook. Fear of vulnerability, scary, scared to share your feelings if you feel like someone's going to invalidate you. We talked about that. But also you become the person who is the bearer of that bad feeling. You know, when you have something to share and you never share it, that other person that other person doesn't know what you're about to share, right? They can't read your mind. So either they don't care that you're going to share it and they go along with their lives, whether they noticed or not. Sometimes they don't even notice that you have something to share. They just go on with their lives anyway. So you're the one that's left with that burden of unexpressed feeling and those thoughts that this person doesn't care, even though you didn't give them the opportunity to care. And we're going to get into that more when we talk about the cost of living like this, because all behavior has a cost. So we have to talk about that. You also begin to believe that another person's feelings are more important than yours. When you come into conflict with somebody who has no issues expressing their feelings and you do, you unconsciously begin to think that their feelings are more valid or more important than yours because you see how effortlessly they were able to express it. And that in some ways makes you want to express it even less. And it becomes a issue of shame. And it at times becomes an issue of feeling like a coward for not, being able to stand up and express these things. But I'm also here to tell you that these things are survival patterns. They're things that helped you to survive a lot of times when you were a kid and you didn't have anything else to do. Because what we learn to do as kids is we learn to adapt to our environment. And if your environment told you that it was not safe for you to express your feelings because either you'd be rejected or you'd be punished or, some other negative outcome, then you learn to adapt. And sometimes that adaptation is when you come into conflict, you don't say anything. You just shut down. So this isn't a conversation to bring about shame. It's a conversation saying that these things really exist and they exist for a reason. So let's start the conversation so that we can do something different in the future so that this isn't something that you still battle with. Because again, there is a cost. Before we get into the cost, let's talk about the pillar that this connects to. On this YouTube channel, we look at everything from the framework of the whole method: witness, heal, own, love, execute. So the pillar that this connects to, actually it connects to two pillars. The first one it connects to, I'll put it up here, is witness. In the witness pillar, we are witnessing our thoughts. We take our thoughts from chaos to awareness. And one of the thoughts that we have to recognize in answering this question, why do I shut down during conflict, is what thought is circulating through my head. And a lot of the times, the thought that's circulating through your head is that nobody is going to care about what I think. Nobody is going to care about what I feel. So it's better to say nothing than it is to say something, than it is to communicate what you're thinking or what you're feeling. The other one it attached to is heal. The reason why it attached to the heal pillar is because not everything in the heal pillar, but a lot of things in the heal pillar discuss triggers, which a lot of times come from your childhood. And the trigger is where that witness thought, is where it comes from. So you're triggered into thinking that nobody cares about how you're feeling, which is why, it goes into these two pillars. We're going to get into the cost. And I want to keep writing on this board because I feel like it's helpful. So I shouldn't erase that. Why do I shut down during important to stay there, conflict? And we'll keep witness and heal there too. That's fine. So what is the cost? A big cost. Big cost. No support. Why is it no support? Because even when you become an adult, if this is the thought process you're working from, that when I communicate my feelings, nobody is going to care. Even if somebody did care and you don't communicate it, you don't get the support. Closed mouths don't get fed. Nobody can read your mind. So you never know if the person you're with, whether it's a partner, whether it's a friend, whether it's anybody you come in contact with, anybody who has a heart to listen compassionately and help, if you are not able to communicate how you feel because you think that they just won't care, or you're, very shut down, and it could be during conflict. You could have run into a situation where you guys have a disagreement, and now you have to discuss it to resolve it. They may want to know your point of view. They may want to know how you can compromise and come to a place of reconciliation, but you're shut down because you've been taught that your feelings, that when you've communicated your feelings in the past, that nothing happened. Nobody cared. So your method now is to shut down. You may not receive the support because they don't even know you're in need of support. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Reinforcement. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that's an I or a. Reinforce. No, it's probably an I, because it wouldn't be EE, right? That don't seem right. So I'll keep it an I. But reinforcement. What does it reinforce? It reinforces in your mind that your feelings are not important. So the first person who has to take your feelings seriously is you. If you become so used to shutting down and not communicating your feelings, you reinforce in your own mind that your feelings are not important. So again, even if you are in conflict with somebody who does want resolution, who does want compromise, if you don't communicate to them, they can't do anything for you because you haven't done anything for yourself. You haven't taken your own feelings serious enough for you to need to communicate them to get your needs met. So reinforcement. I'll say cater to others. In this case, is a negative. You cater to others in a sense that, and this is a cost, we're on the cost part. You cater to others in a sense that you believe that their emotions about what you're going to say is more important than what you have to say. So you don't say it. You allow yourself to be so put off by somebody else's anger or somebody else's hurt feelings that you just conclude that your feelings are not more important than their reaction to your feelings. And that's not true. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to be truthful to you and to your own emotional experience. Because if you're not, nobody else will be. So that is of the utmost importance. And what does that lead to? Rejection and depression. Rejection and depression are a cost of shutting down during conflict. It is a cost of thinking that your feelings are not important and they do not matter. Because what you don't express in hopes that somebody else will express it for you or see it or make a decision just with you in mind, even though they have no idea that you may be having, an issue or that your needs may not be getting met, that can directly lead to the feeling of rejection. But again, the first person who is rejecting you is you. The first person who is rejecting you is you. I'm going to say it a third time because it's so important to know and to hear. The first person who is rejecting you is you. Nobody else can assist you in your feelings if you do not share them. You are the first person who has decided that your feelings are not important. I'm not talking about little you. I'm not talking about you as a child. We went through, we understand why it's there, why it exists, and why it was needed for survival. We're talking about adult you. I'm talking to the grown up in you. If you do not, if you're shutting down because you're going off the belief that your feelings are not important to other people, you become the first person who is rejecting you. Because if they're not important to other people, they at least have to be important to you. And you'll find that if they become important to you, they will become important to other people, because other people won't have a choice. You'll get away from them in that sense. So if you live in this, your rejection can lead to depression, because you are another person who does not care about the way that you feel. And that's a hard way to live. It's a hard way to live. And if you are living that way and you are tired of living that way, I invite you to the Living Whole community on School, where we put into practice the whole method to begin to unpack topics like these and put into practice how to change them. It's not uncommon that you are a person who shuts down during conflict. That's not uncommon. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to live that way. There are things that you can do in order to move past this. So if you're ready to move past it, please click the link, join the School community, and I would love to see you there. I would love to see you there. I would love to be a person who can assist you through this difficulty. And if you're not ready for that and you're still, looking to receive more information on these topics, that's perfectly fine. Please stick around, subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can continue having these conversations. We can continue breaking down these topics. And if you're looking for something that's not having to do with the whole method, check me out on social media. It's an introduction to, mental health conversations. Of course, shorter form content. Check me out. It's Talk Therapy on the Go on TikTok and on Instagram. And I hope that this message resonated with you and was helpful to you today. Peace.